Welcome back, grade 11s and grade 12s. Let's quickly have a look at what we've covered so far in environments. This is in the previous episode, so if you've missed it, just go back and have a look at it. It's a continuation of environments. We looked at the environmental scan, how it fitted in to the company's vision and formulating strategies. We then had a look at this diagram where we had internal and external environmental scanning and the tools that we can use to assess and come up with strategies. We went through the SWOT analysis, which covers your internal and your external tools. Now we're going to have a look at our macro environment, and the tool that we could use there is PESTLE. PESTLE, P stands for political. So some of the things that you could mention is government corruption within South Africa, load shedding, regulatory practices, taxation policies, anything like that that would affect your business. The bullets that are in red is a strategy that you could use to combat that particular challenge. So how do we combat load shedding? As Mr. Price, let us put in generators. Let us ensure that we have a backup. We have energy saving solutions. We have solar, etc., etc. So that, I think, would be the biggest element that Mr. Price could do. Government corruption, well, we can't really do anything about that, but we as a business can ensure that we run ethically and that we ascribe to the King's Code. Let's look at economic. Our inflation is sitting at an average of 6.7%. Interest rates are very high at the moment. Exchange rates, unemployment rate is sitting, I think, at about 35%. That impacts Mr. Price how? Well, if people do not have enough money, they cannot buy clothing. I think you first have to buy food before, you can buy fancy, trendy clothing. So what are some of the strategies that Mr. Price could do? They could have a promotion. They could have mix and match and continue with their mix and match promotions. They could try to do savings. They could have hot new deals every week. They could have a Mr. Price customer card, a loyalty card, and link that to promotions and link that to points. And the more points you gain, you can get R4 off, or whatever the case is. They can certainly do some sort of savings for their clients. Social. Well, in South Africa, we've got HIV/AIDS. That's an issue. A lot of children run homes. Poverty. People are under the breadline, and our communities are suffering from a social point of view. And there's a big divide, hey? There's a big divide in South Africa between people that have and the people that do not have. So in that sense, we need to make sure that we come up with some sort of strategy. So some of the strategies that you could use from a social point of view, again, we can't change poverty as such, but we can invest in small and medium Black-owned suppliers. So that's all kind of filtering into the BBBEE. We can ensure that we have our social programs, education programs, youth programs, and Mr. Price does that. They've got 4,330 youth employed from the Jumpstart program. So something that we can do is we say, let's continue with that. There's also, from a social point of view, the group is committed to developing the country's cotton industry. So how do we continue with that? Could we start getting local cotton suppliers, going into rural areas, communities, teaching people how to farm cotton and really, really making a difference in South Africa? Technological, of course, with technological, it's all the advancements. The digital channels have increased a lot. We have a rise in the number of online channels. And if you're not online, you really are missing a huge, huge, huge market, because people don't want to go out anymore. They want to shop online, and with Shein coming on board, making it very easy to do it, and they're coming from overseas where you can send things back quite easily, etc., etc. Mr. Price really, really needs to hone in on that. Another element that could be an issue for Technological is the rise in your cybersecurity threats. So Mr. Price would need to ensure that they've got all the robust technology needed to limit the cybersecurity threats. And from a technological point of view, their website needs to be amazing. Online shopping needs to be incredible. They need the latest technological programs in order to ensure that it's quick, that as soon as you click onto the website, it comes up quickly, etc., etc. From a legal point of view, you've got trading policies, regulatory bodies, pollution, changes in legislation, copyright, child labor. We need to understand where we are buying our foreign products from and what is the labor situation there, and are we responsible? So what could Mr. Price do? They would have an in-house legal team to ensure that all these legal changes and adaptations are always adhered to, and any kind of changes, our legal team would ensure that we keep up with all that and we are legal above board. We also subscribe to the Companies Act, Labour Relations Acts, Skills Development Acts, all the acts, Basic Conditions of Employment Act. We ensure that we are in line with all of that. Environment, that is all about pollution. What is the footprint of Mr. Price? Plastic bags, what have they done? So from a strategy point of view, Mr. Price has removed plastic bags. They harvest their water from rainwater. They've got solar roof coverage. Cardboard boxes are recycled. The lighting in the stores. They also offer you as a customer, do you want a printout of your slip or can we email it through to you? And then they do a little bit of a spiel about saving trees, which is quite effective. So yes, from an environmental point of view, we've got pollution and all of those hazards. And what are we doing as a company to prevent that or to influence that? The two extra, there's another P for physical, and that's all about the location of your store. Are there fire hazards? Is it crime area? You kind of have to look at the physicalness of the store. Are we in a wetlands area? Are we conserving? Is there conservation that we need to do? Anything like that with regards to where we've got our actual store. And what is the strategy? You'd make sure that you've got your site inspections, you've got a health and safety officer ensuring that the employees and customers are safe. Ethics, it's all got to do with corruption and ethics. Within South Africa, unfortunately, it seems to be a little bit of a trend maybe that people are not as ethical as they should be. So what could we do from a Mr. Price point of view? We could ensure that we ascribe to the code of ethics, a code of conduct. There's continual training on that, and that we make sure that we are above board. There's corporate governance, fairness, accountability. And in their annual report, it actually states all that information that they ascribe to. Okay, right, grade 11s, grade 12s, that is PESTLE in a nutshell for Mr. Price in the fashion industry. When we come back, we are then going to be doing Porter's 6 forces analysis for Mr. Price. Okay, great. Have a wonderful day. Keep well.